Hello there and welcome to Ancient Theories channel. Recently I saw a marvellous video from the National British Museum with Irving Finkel. Yep, that guy who literally looks like a wizard. He presented an iconic story about the ancient known to us map from Babylon, dated roughly for about 2,500 years old piece. What's even more amazing is that it was drawn in clay from a bird's point of view, which for our times is standard, but for people back then, well, we don't know if it was standard to do such a thing from a bird's point of view, but here we are, with truly old map on a clay tablet from ancient times. And you know what is even more bizarre? From thousands of broken parts lying in dark chambers of the British Museum, a certain lady found one piece matching our broken map. What a lovely gal, isn't she? This part will be crucial in this video, trust me. So, what we are even looking at? The map is a broken clay tablet with cuneiform all over it and even on the other side. On the map, one can see some ancient cities like Babylon and Ur, which, except for Babylon, are dots in circles. Babylon is more rectangular in shape, which I assumed was to maybe exaggerate its size compared to other cities, but then two things struck me. First, if I would like to draw a city which is built not only on the left or right bank of a river but on both banks at the same time, then I cannot draw a dot in a circle. I need a more rectangular shape. And second, have you ever heard about parallax? If it's truly, literally bird's point of view and the central dot is the place where the observer is, then Babylon would look like some sort of a linear structure. And other cities would be so far away that I would see only dots on the horizon or don't see them at all. Nevertheless, the long rectangular shape crossing Babylon runs from a mountain and ends in another rectangular, which on the left is described as something like a canal, and on the right as a swamp. Okay, but why everything is surrounded by a double circle? This double circle is described as bitter water, which one could think of as a river, but it's not. In some languages, especially languages from that region, even in today's literal translation, seawater is called bitter water, like in Hebrew. I know we are more familiar with the term salt water, but to our predecessors, for some reason, water in the sea was bitter. This makes sense when you consider that in many cultures salt water means water that can be used to preserve vegetables. For example, there are places in Poland where people will go just to gather solanka, which means water with a high percentage of cooking salt, which occurs naturally, and that salty water is used for, wait for it, pickling cucumbers. Yes, other vegetables too, and seawater isn't good for that. It contains far less salt than that. But what if one used seawater for that process? In most cases, the vegetables wouldn't be protected from the pathogens, and even if you could accomplish this process, if the percentage of salt is too low, then the taste is bad. One could say the cucumbers are then bitter. Then what sea is that circle? I truly don't know, and to be honest, I've heard a lot of arguments about more than one sea. It states on the map that the circle is called in the Akkadian language Namar Ratum, which we translate as ocean, but the thing is it could mean more things. The usual scholarly explanation is that this circle river is being called bitter because it represents the cosmic ocean surrounding the earth, which possesses bitter salt water. Hence the reason why some scholars alternately render the bitter river rather freely, the bitter sea. And the river part? In Arabic na means river. Then some people decided that the author of this tablet meant river by the term na, which makes sense in this context, right? Bullshit. From a bird's point of view, what lies behind distant cities and mountains? A horizon. Blue sky. One just can't see further because of the curvature of the earth. What's even more odd is that the scholars even agree that the double circle represents the cosmic ocean, whatever it means. We will be back on that later. What interests me the most are those triangles around the double circle structure, river or ocean or sky. Those triangles are referenced on the back of the tablet and are described as regions or realms. And they point somewhere on this map. In older history books, this map had only 2 such triangles, but thanks to the lovely gal mentioned earlier and Dr. Irvin, we now have 3. Isn't that extraordinary? What's even more marvelous is the fact that our newest triangle has some writing on it, which states Great Wall, and it's referenced on the other side by the same term. That's how we know that it points to the 5th region, or Nagu. Each triangle also specifies how long one should travel or how far one should travel there. We simply don't exactly know what burn means in this dead language, but Scholars World agrees that the word burn in Akkadian and the word beru in Akkadian and danna word in Sumerian means league, and one should travel 6 leagues in 5th direction to encounter so-called Great Wall. At this point, you may scratch your head and ask how they concluded that those terms mean the same distance, and is our league the same as their league? Time to dig deeper. There is a lexicon by John Halloran. Let's find out what he tells us about it. Well, all one can find is that the time it takes to march a length of 1 danna is 12 hours. Interesting. Now, let's go back to Dr. Irvin's video. If you are interested in his words, then the link is in the description of my video below. He states that it's probable that the 4th region is one to the right from our Great Wall one. Why? He concluded that in the description of the 4th region is the word parsiktu, which is a measurement. That word occurs only once in all of our Sumerian texts and refers predecessor of biblical Noah's myth, or at this point, with all evidence in 2024, Noah's history of the giant flood event. And who doesn't like the story of total annihilation? Back to our topic. The logic behind his assumption is that in region number 4 on a mountain lies remnants of the Ark, and the 4th triangle, according to locations of cities and rivers on the map, points at Ararat Mountains in today's Turkey, which many believe is the resting place of Noah's Ark, or maybe not Noah's, because he is called Zushudra. Come on, give me some slack. Who can pronounce it in Akkadian? I will stick with Noah. However, there is a gargantuan gap in his logic. Ararat Mountain is located roughly 800 kilometers from Babylon, more than merely 8 leagues. However, I personally think that Dr. Irving is right, and that 8 beru means the distance of 800 kilometers, because as stated in the lexicon, if one walks for 8 days, 12 hours a day with an average speed of 7 kilometers per hour, then it would be a journey for sure. Quick math tells us it would be a distance of 672 kilometers. But wait, our map specifies that distance not from Babylon, but from that double-circled edge of Bird's View or Bitter Ocean. And what is the distance from Babylon to the cosmic Bitter Ocean? Who knows? Well, I calculated the diameter of the map in the circle to be about 250 to 320 kilometers. How? It's about the distance from the city of Haban to the city of Dur. Depending on what distance you measure, it will be 250 to 320 kilometers. If so, then the missing 130 kilometers are there. It's the distance between Babylon and the edge of the double circle. Simple as that. Everything is just in the right place. But where is the Great Wall? Please do not say it's in China. Not only the wall in China was built later, but also the angles on the map do not match its location. I checked. If we continue to treat Beru as 12 hours of march, and we go in the direction of the 5th triangle, we would end up in ancient Lebanon. To be specific, in the Lebanon mountains. On the other side of the map, the description of the 5th region states that our journey ends in a realm where there are trees as high as 120 cubits and there is a wall as high as 840 cubits. A cubit has a length of about 45.7 centimeters. Quick math again, and the trees are up to 55 meters in height and the wall is 380 meters in height. I don't know if you know that, but the Empire State Building in New York has a roof height of 380 meters. Sounds insane, right? Because it is insane. 380 meters in height is ludicrous. More about that in my next video. Thanks for watching, and I hope I was bearable to listen to. By the way, have you noticed that the author of that map counts anti-clockwise? Math trivia. In our math, we also to this day use anti-clockwise motion to describe angles and vectors. One could say that we count in an anti-clockwise system. We could change that, but there is no point. It doesn't change anything. It's more like a choice we all made at some point and never looked back, and it appears that the choice was made a very long time ago. Till we meet again.